Just because it's raining on your cruise does not mean that your day is ruined. There are a lot of fun and unexpected things that you could do on a rainy day on a cruise. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, this happened to me a few years ago. We were on a 7-day Caribbean cruise, and I swear it rained 3.5 days out of 7. Absolutely not what we expected, but we really did learn that you could have fun even on rainy days on a cruise. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 10 of the very best things that you could do on a rainy day on a cruise that are not boring. Now, before I get started, I wanted to mention 2 things. First of all, some of these things are going to be a little bit creative and a little bit unexpected. And the other thing is, if you enjoyed this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe if you haven't done so already. What are you waiting for? I'd love to have you here within the LifeWell Cruise community. Let's get started. Number 1 thing to do on a rainy day on a cruise is consider hanging out by the pool. Now, I know it's not what we're thinking. We want a hot, sunny day probably to hang out by the pool, but it doesn't mean that you can't have fun on a rainy day in the pool. Now, in particular, if you have a cruise ship that has a covered solarium, that is even better, or maybe a partially covered pool. However, even if you don't, sometimes the hot tubs are covered, so do take a look for that. And really, even in a worst case scenario, check out how bad the rain is. If it really isn't that stormy out, you definitely can still hang out in the hot tubs and in the pool, even if it's raining a little bit. Now, most cruise ship hot tubs in particular get so crowded that this way you'll probably have the hot tub almost to yourself. Number 2, check out one of the behind the scenes tours or one of the demonstrations that will be happening on sea days on a cruise ship. Now, just something to mention is oftentimes when the weather sort of changes, it's a sea day and maybe the plan for the day, the daily schedule shows a lot of poolside activities. Oftentimes what will happen is the cruise director and the entertainment staff and the activity staff, they'll kind of rush and they'll change that schedule around and they'll actually add some new activities. So make sure that you do check your app and even go over to the guest services deck and pick up maybe a new copy of that daily planner. But take a look in particular for any of those behind the scenes tours. Some of them are included, sometimes they have an additional cost, but those can be great things to do. You can visit the galley, and sometimes there's a bridge tour as well, but that usually will have an extra cost. Now, something else to do is check out some of the demonstrations and even some of the classes that might be happening on those sea days on the interior of the cruise ship. So you might have napkin folding demonstrations, you might have cooking demonstrations, you might have painting classes. Those are all fun things to do on the sea days that happen indoors on the cruise ship. Number 3, consider checking out the art auction. Now, I know this one gets a little bit of a bad rap. Either people love it or a lot of people claim to kind of hate it. However, judging from the fact that art auctions are almost always very busy, I think there are a lot of people that really like them. Now, on our cruise a few years ago when it rained those 3 days plus of the cruise, I got to know those art auctions and I actually really did enjoy them. One of the nice things about art auctions is oftentimes there is like free champagne or sparkling wine. So if that interests you, you can always attend the champagne art auction, but at the same time, it's really a great place to learn about art, some of it modern art, about the process, and even just have a little bit of fun while in that art auction environment. If you've never checked one out, just for fun, go and spend a half an hour or an hour there on your rainy day on a cruise. Number 4, get active on your rainy day on a cruise. So some of the things that you could do if you're on a cruise ship that has an ice skating rink, you can actually go ice skating on a cruise. We did this when we were on the Oasis of the Seas. Really a lot of fun, but you may enjoy laser tag. You may enjoy going to the gym, whether you just work out on your own or maybe you participate in one of the classes. That is a lot of fun to do something active on your rainy day. Number 4, go hang out in the casino. Now, I have to say I am not a casino player, so I really never end up doing this. However, I know people who love the casino. I don't have to tell you how much fun it is. So whether you play the slots, you play a table game, you definitely can hang out in the casino. And I do know that a lot of people get these great casino rates, so I do think that it has its advantages as well. Please let me know if you do enjoy spending time in the casino, in particular if it is a rainy day on a cruise. Now, if you're not a big casino player, but you still like to play a little bit of games, you may really enjoy going to bingo or Deal or No Deal. Number 5, go to afternoon tea on a sea day. Now, this is something that you can do whether it's a rainy day or not. Some cruise ships are going to have a really lovely afternoon tea. And this is something that I had actually wanted to do for years and years. We finally did this when we were on a back-to-back cruise a few years ago because we had so many sea days. And it was so enjoyable. It was on a Princess cruise. However, even if you don't have an official afternoon tea like in the dining room the way some cruise ships do, you can also just have some nice snacks in one of the lounges. Like on some of the Norwegian cruise ships, you'll have the observation lounge. It's absolutely beautiful. On a lot of the other cruise ships, you'll just have these beautiful lounges or bars with gorgeous floor-to-ceiling windows where you can look out at the sea. It's a great time to just sit and have a coffee or tea and have some snacks and enjoy that quiet time reading or talking with your friends or family. Number 6, now this is my personal favorite. It is create your own cruise food tour. So yes, you're on a cruise ship where there's just so many things that you could eat and drink, but you could actually start, let's say at 11 o'clock and you could end at about 3, and you could try out several of the different places that you could eat on board. So whether it's the buffet, whether it's the main dining room, but you'll probably find that there's a cafe, there might be even a specialty restaurant that is cheaper if you eat there during the lunch, but check out some of those different venues. Now, a few years ago, we did this when we were on the Regal Princess. We had a sea day and we decided to make an unofficial Regal Princess food tour. We tried out the British pub lunch. We tried out the latkes in the main dining room. We had some dessert, I believe, at the International Cafe. It was just a lot of fun to be able to try out some of the different places to eat and some of the different foods on the cruise. Now, similar to the cruise food tour, you can also do a bar hop or a bar crawl right on your cruise ship. Now, in particular, if you have the beverage package, you definitely should do this. You could try out different drinks at different bars, whether they're inside or even outside, because many of the outdoor ones are actually covered. Nobody's going to be there. So you're going to get amazing service, but whether you want to try out some of those frozen cocktails that you just haven't had a chance to try yet, maybe you want to try out a different wine in the wine bar, maybe a new martini, you're definitely going to find some new drinks that you absolutely love. And if you have a beverage package, well, why not? It's a nice opportunity and you're not driving. Number 8, catch a matinee. So oftentimes on a cruise ship, you're going to be able to see movies in one of the lounges. You might be able to see some of the shows in the theater. There are actually a lot of things that are oftentimes going on in the lounges and theaters. So whether it is actually watching a movie or a show, but other things that you might see is the captain might have a talk. There might be a talk about cruise ports. You might have a lecture from a really interesting author, and those might be things that on a sea day, if you were out at the pool doing some of those poolside activities that you wouldn't really think about, but check out some of the activities that happen indoors. You're probably going to be pleasantly surprised at all of the great things to do. Number 9, shop till you drop. So whether you want to pick up souvenirs, whether you're shopping for jewelry, or you're even looking for some luxury handbags, there are on some cruise ships some really great shops and some great shopping. But even if you don't really want to shop and spend a lot of money on your cruise, something that you'll find is oftentimes there are contests that are held in those shops. But the thing is that you do actually have to be in the area to be able to win. So on that sort of rainy day, there's a good chance that you're not going to be outdoors, you're not going to be away. So you could actually shop, you can look around, you can go to some of the different sales, but you can also enter some of those contests and you potentially can win a prize. By the way, if you think that people don't actually win the prizes, my mother did win earrings and I've won a bottle of champagne at an Etsy store in the past. And another form of shopping that you can do is you can actually book your future cruise on board. So while you can definitely sort of just fill in a form and you can put that into the little mailbox to book a future cruise, you can also make an appointment with the future cruise consultant and you can talk about a future cruise. You could look at different itineraries, and that could be something really fun to do on a rainy day on a cruise as well. Number 10, sit on your balcony or even on the promenade deck and just take it in. Yes, rain and all, the sea is still beautiful. It's probably going to be really calming. And if you're like me, you probably go on a cruise and you do want to relax for a certain amount of time. And sometimes things are so busy, we just don't have a lot of time to do that. This is a really nice opportunity to do it. Now, I know there are way more than 10 things to do on a rainy day on a cruise. So please let me know if you've been on a cruise and you've had those rainy days. What are some of the things that you really like to do? Please let me know down in the comments below. I'm going to leave a video right after this one about the most fun things to do on a sea day, in case you do want to watch what you can do on sort of a nicer day on a cruise. So I will leave that coming up next. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you did enjoy it. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.